Okay, so Bomber. See, so no suits Hammersmith in it. Bomber. Inspired, Lemmy said, by the Len Dayton, I think that's how you pronounce his surname, the author who wrote the novel of the same name, Bomber, in 1970, about a bombing campaign by the English over Germany during the Second World War, the great big Lancaster bombers. Lemmy always recommended reading it to get a better understanding of his lyrics he wrote for his song of the same name, but I tried, I couldn't really get on with it. Anyway, that fascinating tidbit aside, it's it's worth looking at. Some good stuff going on the bass here. It's definitely not the bass work. Let's clear that one up straight away. But I think most people know that. I've tried looking into this. So it's absolutely noisy, but I can't bother to keep turning it on and off again. Apparently, Lemmy was using an 8-string bass, which, as everyone probably knows, but you know, it's one string and then another string the octave above, 2 strings quite close together. And on I'm actually going to turn this off because it's really irritating me. And on the album Bomber, there is that sort of slightly like chorus type sound that goes through the whole thing. I mean, I think that was the easiest album for them to make. They were on the road all the time, and they were in a rush to trying to capitalise on Overkill, the success, their breakthrough album, as it were. And they also, unfortunately, Jimmy Miller, their engineer, again, he'd been on Overkill and on Bomber, and he was on what they very correctly called the bad stuff, i.e. heroin. So they were kind of against it, really. Classic Motörhead, but they pulled a kind of little pun there, pulled an ace out of the hole, as always, and came up with Bomber. But then, anyway, there is that sort of chorusy type thing to it, and I wonder how much of that is due to Lemmy's use of the 8-string, but I can't just find that much information on it, because when he played it on the album, he's definitely playing, he's on the bottom string, the E string, a 7th fret and A, and the A, you know. But, and it's often how I see it covered, and technically it's correct. But Lemmy, he didn't use E string a lot. I think it was just too low, and given his sound, it was just too muddy. Even if you play the same notes, but on the A, so you got the 2nd string out, and then it got open. You get a lot more it kind of punches through there a lot more than. I'm trying to replicate the Lemmy sound as best as I can through my little, whatever it is, 10-watt Marshall amp, little practice amp. But anyway, that was, if you see him like miming to it back in the day, like on Top of the Pops, which is an English chart show program, Motörhead playing Ace of Spades, people that had just been dancing to, I don't know, whatever, Earth, Wind and Fire or something. It's quite interesting. But anyway, live, and certainly later on, he just power chords, 9th fret, 11th fret on the G, 11th fret on the G, 9th fret on the D, keeping that the heel of the hand on the bottom 2 strings there. So you're ready. And I've seen this a bunch of times. I searched them live, and especially around about 99, 2000, when they went through a spate of opening things. If I've seen it, Phil starts the riff, and then Lemmy's got his, just before he went, spit the fag out for mama, and then down to the E, Now here he does a nice, lovely little thing which is sometimes overlooked, but it's this. Great spiky little riff there. That was a favourite of his, sticking in, theory-wise, it's the minor 3rd. He does a lot on, like Train, years earlier, but not years earlier, but a couple of years earlier, Train Kept a Rolling, or when they still play that one on the set, he when it kind of gets into it, and it really gives it that sort of urgency, as it were. But here he uses as a little sort of ending little lick before he goes back into that. So what it is slow it right down. So we're on the third, let's go for third finger on the 7th fret of the A string. Let's do that. And then onto the 5th fret of the D. Alternate picking there mainly. Oh, that wasn't alternate, was it? It's hard to slow it down actually. Yeah, this is when it's sort of alternate picking and all the other types of picking kind of go out the window, because it's almost like feel there. I'd prefer two downward stabs, you know, to really mark that one out and then go back maybe to alternate. Yeah. There's almost a little sort of there. That thing Motörhead had that little just glitch there, hiccup, or I don't know what you call it. And you can do a little bend there. Lemmy was fond of bass bends, especially, you know, much later on. I do that. Oh, what's that song? That blues song they wrote. It's basically a Hoochie Coochie Man. You better run. And you do that. I got the blues about my baby, and all that sort of thing. Sorry. But so you definitely like this bass bends. But here's a. So that just ends it. I mean that just is a turnaround to go back into the. Ain't no been hell, nothing gonna bring us down. I'm not sing that in key, am I? The way we fly. It's a hard one to sing that one. It's either low or high. 5 miles on the ground. Yes. No shoot to kill. I've seen this poem, it's covered, people do like a bit much in my humble opinion. Lemmy never really played chords there. It's more like single note there. It's that nice, on the A you've always got that nice sort of punchy rumbly sound. Even though you might do an octave thing across the 3 strings. He's on the D, and you can stretch out open D string and little finger on the G, and hit all the octaves there. Can we do it right? Mission every night. It's a bummer. Drop down to the C on the A string. And as always with that, learn the thing of choking strings. So with this finger you're not only pushing down on the 7th fret of the A string, but you're also just lightly resting that on the top 2 strings there, the D and the G, and you've also got the thumb choking that E, so you can that's really the only way you're going to get the sort of punchy rumbly sound. You're not if you just, I've seen some covers like that, each line and all the rest of it, but that's the way to get it, is to start learning to play across the strings and to control dampening the strings and muffling the strings, so you get that rhythm guitar type bass playing. Again, get that thumb over. And then what would you do? Somehow teaching the guy the guitar, and he's got very small thumbs, so he's got small hands, so it doesn't really work for him holding the thumb over. It is something that gets easier the more you do it. I've got quite small thumbs anyway, but it's like anything that's stretched, it gets better. If you can't do it, then where there's a will, there's a way. It's just putting the 2nd finger there across those 2 strings there, and then doing the power chord, the bass power chord on the D and the G with the 1st and the little finger, or the pinky, and just cover those 2 there, like that. so you can really, you know, whack the thing. I think that's basically it. I mean, that's the song. The only sort of, apart from the rhythmic bass work, is that little fill, you know. I'll play at normal speed. Nothing gonna bring us down. That's kind of basically it. At the end, the only thing he did power chords right at the end. A lot like live when he sort of really punched it out. Yeah. And so on, just to kind of accentuate it. I think he might have done a few power chords lower down, but other than that, normally I think it's single string stuff. He didn't really do the octave jumps there either. So that's there. That's Bomber by Motörhead. A bit of a look at the bass work there by Lemmy. As always, anything you think I can help you out with, or anything not sure about, whatever, just hit me up in the comments, and see you next time, alright?